Good morning. Good morning.
Fired up. Good morning.
I see some new names. I see some future students on here. I see. Hey, Sonia. We got a lot of stuff going on today. Hey, Gwen. How many of you guys been watching the World Cup? So I made sure that the webinar was before the World Cup game today, this afternoon. Now, we always plan our webinars at 11, guys. So yeah, it's been pretty fun watching. Um, World Cup is an understatement. I think I caught all three or four games yesterday, all a bunch of ties. So that was kind of crazy. Um, if you guys are watching the World Cup, who's your team? So hopefully everyone puts the US. And if you have a secondary team, secondary nation. Good morning. Hi, Flavio. Good morning. What's your secondary team besides the US? Okay, Haiti. And you guys did good the other day. Yesterday, that was actually. That was a nice surprise on a tie. Um, yeah, okay. Yep. So some of you guys are soccer fans. The US did fantastic, beating Paraguay 4-1. My wife's Colombian, so that's my secondary team is Colombia. So they're playing tomorrow. So that should be fun. What about the rest of you guys? I don't know if you've seen Harry, have you watched any of the social media stuff? Before we get started, yeah, we're letting people in. The team from Scotland. So, Scotland played in Boston the other night for their first World Cup game. They won. They actually went to the Red Sox game and they're all singing. It was crazy. So anyone that it's got a little social media, look up, the soccer fans. That was awesome. Yes, Sonia, I'm a big Knicks fan, so that's been pretty awesome. My friends from New Jersey, they're all excited. New York, all the above. So I was happy to watch that win also. And in between, I'm still doing deals. Go figure, right? Go figure. We'll give it a couple more minutes before we get started. Give it another minute or two.
And your social media, Facebook, you're playing for Team India, right? In
Yeah,
football?
that's it, right? If you guys are following me, I've been using a little AI. I made a big joke saying that using AI that I put myself in an Indian jersey for soccer, and it's funny because India obviously did not make the World Cup. I wasn't even sure if they had a team, and of course, I had some family give me a hard time about that. Like, of course, we have a team. I'm like, okay, well, we weren't good enough for one of the 48, so I don't know. Soon, hopefully soon, hopefully soon. So, hey, Carl, I got Carl Shealy on here. Okay, I see some new names on here too. Awesome, awesome. I see some students. Um, Oh, you've been following me on LinkedIn? Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Vina will also put in my social media stuff. Make sure you're following us. Mine, BPM, Ria, all the above. And let's just kind of get started, actually. So, a couple announcements, right? Today, we're going to talk about funding your first real estate deal, how new investors use cash, credit, private money, and partnerships. It's going to be myself and Harry Diamond that are going to talk about this. So we do have a raffle. We have a 1 year BPM membership. So make sure you type the word membership to 954-800-6961. If you already have a membership, we're going to go ahead and extend your membership. So make sure you pop it in. Someone's going to get paid to hang out today. Also, the best way to keep up with events. Same number, 954-800-6961. Text the word BPM RIA, and you will keep up with our events. So 954-800 6961, right? And again, Venus putting all the stuff in our chat. So you could also click right there if that helps you in general, right? So our 2-day quick start is coming up. It's August 1st and 2nd. At the quick start, I'm going to teach you about assignments and double closings, off-market properties, creative financing. We're going to show you how to find these off-market properties using REIFax. The founder, Francisco Mago, will be at the event. That's the software we use and pay for our students when you're a student. We'll also have Jose Ramirez. He's going to talk about how to set up the right corporation for your wholesale business and your long-term business, right? If you have properties. Also, some tax strategies will be included. Carl Shealy, who is on this call, is our longest standing member with 13 plus licenses. And we're going to talk about how to actually rehab properties, what to look for. And then last but not least, it's Kevin Thatcher, the founder of Independence Title, better known as the Title King. He's going to talk about assignments and double closings. We're going to talk about self-directed IRAs. We're going to talk about creative financing. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to also put you in teams with a property analysis. So one of the things that we are doing, just so you guys know, is I'm taking $100 off for early bird pricing. So you do have to buy by July 1st. Again, it's August 1st and 2nd is the event. It's cameras on with via Zoom. So we keep these events small on purpose to make it interactive. So you're gonna love it. I see a lot of you guys are interested in the quick start. So I have a little special at the end. So you definitely want to stay until the end. Also, I have a money back guarantee. So thank you guys for filling out the poll. I see some of you guys have already attended the quick start and you guys loved it. So I look forward to it. You guys doing that? Let's see. Right. So we also have our membership for BPM RIA. Our membership for individuals is $295. You get those National RIA discounts, including 20% off paints at Home Depot, a 2% rebate on whatever you spend at Home Depot. Our members have spent well over $8 million last year. Nationally, as for National RIA, we've spent close to 1.8 billion, that's with a B, dollars. The other benefits include Camel Plan. They're giving away about $700 worth of bonuses, Rent Perfect, Avis. There's about 15 National RIA benefits. So when you become a member and you do this right, you actually get paid to be a member. Also, we do have events that are member pricing and non-member pricing, including our Quick Start. Our quarterly meeting is July 8th. That gets you in for free. And we also have a special workshop with Carl Shealy, our rehabber. We're doing a full day on July 11th. Member pricing is $149, non-member pricing is $199. It's our first full day workshop with Carl, and it's going to be in a small room, guys. It's in person at Nova Southeastern University. It's 199 again for non-members, 149 for members. I know Vina will put that link in there. And if you have a partner, a business partner, that partner could come in for 99 bucks, right? So I see a lot of you guys, again, memberships has its privileges, right? So you definitely want to become a member of BPM RIA. And as I said, we are a approved chapter of National RIA. Also, we do have a one-on-one mentoring program where I put up 100% of the money for the deals and we profit share. We go 50-50 on the profits. I know you guys are on this webinar because you want to do deals. And guess what? You need money, right? And we're going to talk about that today. So we're a little bit unique. We only take 6 students per month for our mentoring program. And go ahead and book a discovery call if you're interested. Throughout the slides, you could always get connected with us. Just take out your phone, the QR code. You could book a discovery call. You could, also get a membership right online also. And we'll go ahead and talk about our mentorship in a little bit too. And we do have a third-party funding. So for some of you guys, you may want to fund your mentorship So again, Pathway Financial has been a great partner. Go ahead and take out your phone. It's a soft credit pull. Maybe you need money for deals. Go ahead and they've been fantastic. It's a minimum of 620 credit score. They do 0% interest. And there are some fees that you just work out with them too. So if you're interested, again, take out your phone and they are fantastic. So, and again, we would just want to thank all our sponsors at National RIA for being so great. And also, I'd like to thank our sponsors, our vendor partners locally that have been really helping out BPM RIA all the way through. So, and for us, besides the National RIA sponsors, any of our vendor sponsors, you could just go to our website. We have literally contractors, hard money guys, insurance, you name it, we got it on there too. So, all right, let's kind of get started. Our team, let me just make sure everything's working here. Yeah, okay, good. All right, looks like I got everything working here. Okay. So our team, right, is myself. I'm the CEO and president of BPM RIA. I am also National RIA president or president of National RIA. I represent well over 40,000 members nationally, 120 chapters and affiliates. I'm a licensed real estate agent for some time. One of the things that I've done over the years is I'm a big believer in education, masterminds, and mentoring. I've spent well over $300,000 in my lifetime on masterminds and mentoring, and I continue to spend money. Some of you guys, I see a lot of names on this webinar that I've seen before, and I do see some new names. So the other background about me, I grew up in New Jersey. I have a degree in finance. I got sick of the cold weather. I went to engineering school at Rutgers University, transferred out, graduated from USF in Tampa with a finance degree. I was in banking for a long time. And then guess what? I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Put in the chat. I'm always just curious because that literally changed my life because my dad is poor dad and I was on the path of being poor dad, right? So for me, it literally changed everything, right? So I left the bank, got my mortgage license. After getting my mortgage license, I started building a mortgage company. I started crushing it. I was a great investor from 2001 to 2008. How many of you guys were great investors, you old timers? Were fantastic investors from 2001 to probably 2006, maybe seven, right? So crushed it. And for you younger folks, you might have heard of the Great Depression, the real estate market crash. So I went from 28 properties, millions of dollars, to losing everything. And while I was losing everything, for me, I actually saw a flyer, which is kind of funny. I wish I remember where I saw it. They had a free class. I went to the class. I was a rehabber and I was a buy and hold guy. And that was the first time I actually heard about wholesaling. I said, shoot, I'm losing everything. I don't have much money. And I got to figure out a way to make a bunch of money. I did not want to go back to corporate America. I spent well over $50,000 on a national program. The information was great. The challenge was the mentors were in Utah. They did not know South Florida. And for me, that was pretty big of not having a local mentor, right? They didn't know East of 95, West of 95. They didn't understand how different our market is. The good thing was they said, go to your local RIA. I found BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investors Association. As a good Indian son, as I'm losing everything, I didn't go back to corporate America, slept on my cousin's couch, took my last bit of money, and I did BRIA's old program where they did not put up the money for the deals, and I had to raise my own money. One of the top students, and I bought the companies from Bill and Jan Leon, the founders of BRIA, changed the name about 5 years ago, and came up with this program where we put up 100% of the money for the deals, right? As we go on today, you're going to see how to raise money for deals. Harry, do you want to give your background a little bit?
Sure. About 15, 14 years ago, Victoria and I knew that there was a way to create an additional stream of income through real estate. We saw one of these giant ads in the newspaper inviting us down to the American Airlines Arena. I don't know what it's called now, but we got in there, saw a lot of speakers. Um, we bought into a program, $50,000 national program. Went to a lot of multiple weekends. They all said the same thing: go to your local RIAs, real estate investment associations. And we did. We found BRIA after going to a whole bunch of them, Broward Real Estate Investors Association. And this was about 4 or 5 years after Anish was there. Anish wasn't there when we first started, but he ended up coming back to take over and buy the organization. And he took us under his wing and we started to skyrocket in business. We put 12 deals on the boards in 90 days. We quickly shot up to be the number one students for a number of consecutive years. And because we were treated so well, by the way, Carl Shealy was a big portion, a big part of our success, teaching us all about rehabbing and the costs of things and what to look for in the house. So this upcoming presentation he's doing is invaluable for anybody and everybody. We used to do them on site in the old days, but and we might do them again, I think. But so with the team and that support that this organization has, Victoria and I were able to quickly become multimillionaires, and we just felt so blessed that we wanted to pay it forward to people like yourselves and become mentors ourselves. And we've been doing that for I don't know how many years now, 6, 7, 6 years, 5 years,
Yeah,
six.
it's so crazy. The time has gone by so quick. It's insane. Even with technology too. So the question becomes, right? Like, I want you to be honest. How many of you guys have been thinking about getting into real estate? Put in the chat. I want to know how long you guys have been actually thinking about getting into real estate. I'm always curious. Did you just wake up yesterday? Is it a year? Is it 4 years? Right? So put in the chat. I'm going to ask some questions in there in the chat. I just want to make sure you guys are alive and breathing, right?
This
If
is
you're
interactive.
driving, yeah, and if you're driving, I get it. Don't put in the chat. Put the phone down, just listen. So everyone else, you have no excuse, guys, right? And so the question becomes, what do you actually have to show for it? Some of you guys are saying you guys recently, some of you guys have done it, for a couple of years, right? You've been thinking about it. Have you actually done a deal? Right? These are questions that are really important because I've seen so many people over the years. I've been part of BRIA and National RIA or BPM RIA since 2012. I see a lot of great people. How many great people we see, and they're still at the same spot, right? They haven't made an offer. They don't know how to analyze, and they don't know what to do. And I get it, right? So what I always tell people, it's not the lack of information, it's lack of execution, right? That's the key out there, right? And I already, yep, Carl, you got to take action too. And I already gave my background. I have 25 years of real estate experience, done well over $250 million in transactions. I've been a speaker at the IMN conference, and it was this business that got me back to where I am today. I literally had millions, lost everything, filed bankruptcy February 10th, 2010. The people that are new on this webinar, what you're going to like about me, I'm 100% transparent. I'm not the rah-rah guy. The reason I tell you, what the ups and downs is that, some of you guys have had ups and downs. And don't let that be a death sentence. And, one of the things that, real estate did, it changed my income and it changed how I live. My wife and I have been traveling all around the world. One of the cool things, I get to spend more time with my dad. I'm a big baseball fan, flew out for the World Series. I've been at the Copa America game. I'm trying to still figure out how I'm going to get to the World Cup. The other mentors also, they've been traveling around the world and we've been great friends. They were all former students. Also, I've worked with the Dolphins Business Combine. I am their expert on wholesaling and rehabbing. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, is a real estate guy. And I love what he's doing with the Dolphins. And that's where it started with the professional athletic community. That is former NFL players, NBA players, MLB players, women's rowing. They're up to 11 major sports, Premier Soccer also, which is pretty cool. And again, I am their expert on wholesaling and rehabbing. Not everyone gets in with PAC, the professional athletic community. What I always think it's interesting is that those guys are afraid to make offers, right? Guys and girls, I should say, right? They're professional athletes and they're in the same situation, just like you. What do I do? I'm scared. I don't want to lose any money. The other thing that I'm really proud of, we built a great BPM student community. We do barbecues for our members and students. It's already closed out. We have our happy hour this Thursday, sponsored by Lending One, which is pretty fun. We do cruises. Our next National RIA cruise is February 20 to 27th out of Miami. It's 7 days of fun, learning, all the good stuff. The other cool thing is I have worked or met Grant Cardone. I was never a big Grant Cardone guy until I actually met him. It's interesting. He charges 100,000 bucks an hour. And what I didn't realize what Grant does is he has a lot of nonprofits for kids to teach them real estate. So I even gave him a hard time saying, well, how come no one knows that? And his daughter Sabrina at 15 is help running his company and she's a firecracker. So I love her. And also, I was the first guest on Money Chat as their housing expert. This was a national program. So you probably see me around, whether it's at a webinar like this or speaking at different events or just doing deals too. So before we get started, I'm just going to play a quick little video of what we've been up to, and then we'll get started.
This is one of the best programs I've been a part of. The support is outstanding.
I encourage you to join this association. Your life will be changed.
Anish and everybody that was part of the BPM RIA they were just wonderful. They are very knowledgeable. They were helpful. They were patient, kind, very good teachers, very organized. Everything was just it was a great quick start seminar.
Never mind. Wait for me to go.
BPM RIA, Anish and the team, they are amazing. I have been a corporate member of the BPM RIA, formerly known as BRIA, for probably almost 15 years. And being part of an organization like that is just amazing when you get to see the people's lives that they're changing.
Hey, what's up? This is Avery Moss, former New York Giant, former Miami Dolphin. Recently, I got to finish up this PAC event where it was a group of professional retired athletes that got together and we're trying to figure out the next chapter of our life. Just hearing them talk, going through everything, like instantly, I was inspired by the guy. It was like a light bulb clicked above my head like a cartoon. And thanks to Anish Dave, I can say furthermore, I'm going to go through this process and get into real estate, stop messing around and actually do it, because I feel confident now of knowing what exactly what I want to do after meeting him and getting the base knowledge and seeing how things are.
Position. Grab the seat of the chair. The seat.
There you go.
Put your hand on the corner if you want to. All right. You go straight to the floor, not at an angle, straight up and down. The seat is straight to the floor. Touch it once.
You're gonna
Touch it twice.
destroy that shit, dude.
Touch it a third time. Explode!
And I have to say, they're an exceptional bunch of people to work with. How to use a technique, creative financing, how to get rid of liens. Don't hesitate to join, work with them. They will definitely help you get through the roughest times.
Never mind.
They put up all the money for the deals. They're there with you, make sure all the paperwork is right. You know, they're not going to leave you alone on this. And yeah, I recommend this.
BPM RIA program, it's definitely changed our lives. They funded our deals.
Hey, can't go wrong with other people's money.
Exactly. You know, they funded our deals. They got us into real estate. They held our hand the whole way through, and just really, the most amazing thing is we literally have these guys to. It's nothing for us to pick up the phone and call Anish and be like, "Hey, look, we got this deal. What do we do?"
They're not going to let your deal fall through.
So one of the things that for us, right, the big question I have is how many people have to make more money in 2026? How many guys, give me a yeah, buddy. I want to make sure I got the right people in the room. And if they don't put anything in there, I'm just curious what they're doing, right? Only a couple of you guys. I know, Sonia, you're always need to make more money. I love it, right? How many guys realize that you got to sharpen your skills? And if you don't sharpen your skills, it's going to cost you money. Give me a yeah, buddy. Right? Okay, some of you guys, right? You got to keep getting better every time. Everything's changing. And lastly, how many of you guys realize that you're going to have to invest in yourself to get to the next level? Give me a yeah, buddy. Okay. Got it. All right, some of you guys. All right, I'm right there with you. All right. So, you know, we always talk about money follows the deal. For the next hour, I'm going to teach you about partnerships, some of the things that we do about raising money. I'm going to show you some deals that we've closed. I'm also going to talk about our one-on-one mentoring and our 2-day quick start, right? So one of the things that's really interesting, right? Money does not fund confusion. What does that mean? Harry, what does that mean? Like Harry does, you know, if you're confused, can you get money for deals?
If I'm confused, I'm always confused, and yes, I can get money.
Yeah, well, Harry, I'm being serious though. As an investor, if you're confused and you're new, right, you're not going to be able to get money. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, right?
Right.
Like,
That's why
yeah.
we have that's for us, it was all about the team and getting the knowledge.
Yeah, and when we talk about that is when I say confused, is this a deal or not? Right? Money funds clarity. If you're clear that, hey, this is what it's buying for, this is what I'm selling for, it means that it's clear for you, and people will want to give you money. They'll literally throw money at you, right? A good deal with clear numbers attracts money. Right? So funding's not the issue. Clarity is. Money in general does not chase confusion. Money follows a clear deal, clear numbers, clear protection, and clear exit. How many of you guys agree with that? Right? Put in the chat. That makes sense, right? Yeah, no question, Majid. Yeah, education is key, right? Yep, I get you. So the thing is, you got to stop thinking like a borrower. what does that mean, right? So when you're an investor and you're trying to raise money for deals, as a borrower, you're always thinking like, can I get the money, right? How many guys, right? And this is perfect for me, was I would be able to do deals if I only had the money. I used to hold on to that, right? Can I get the money? And I used that to stop me from doing deals. I really did, right? The question you should really be asking, right? A deal maker, like someone like Harry, as soon as he became a strong investor, what he says is, how do I structure this so everybody wins? We literally had this conversation yesterday. He's got a deal right now that he's going to crush it on. It's going to be another six-figure wholesale deal. And he's like, well, how do I make sure whoever I sell it to that they make money, right? How do I make sure the lender makes money? These are important things, right? So, we always say borrowers ask for money. Deal makers create opportunity. The shift is simple, right? Stop asking, can I get money? Start asking, how do I structure this so everyone wins? And
You just said borrowers ask for money. When you know how to do this, money is being thrown at you.
yep.
So big difference.
And you got to replace fear with math, right? If the math makes sense, then people, exactly what Harry's talking about, people will give you money for deals. Money is math, especially in real estate, right? How much is it going to cost? What am I going to do? What's the strategy, right? So we talk about our 5 funding buckets. What do you think they are? Put in the chat. What do you think if you're looking for deals? How do you fund your deals? What's number 1? The obvious. Everyone knows this, right? If I only had the blank, I'd be able to close. Right? Cash. Yep, David, you got it. Cash. Right? That's the first one. The second one is credit, right? You could be like someone like Harry or Carl Shield, they have street credit. What I mean by that, I'm just messing around with that, but like, yeah, they have good credit or they have experience, right? The third way to get it is private money. Harry, what's private money mean to you besides my money? What other
I
private?
use BOA, Bank of Anish.
There you go, right? So private money can be, friends, family, all the above, right? The other way to actually fund deals is traditional loans. What I can tell you, this can be a challenge, right? If it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, what do you need for loans? You need what? W-2, right? Your W-2 is for 2 years, your tax returns. You need pay stubs and at least 2 months of bank statements. You're going to need a larger down payment depending on what kind of property it is, right? If it's a condo, it's different. And if it's a condo, there's way more things that go on, meaning the HOA, right? Is there assessments? Do they have reserves? Traditional loans take longer. What you're going to realize when you get really good at this, I don't know about you, Harry. I'll put you on the spot. I'll put myself on the spot, which I don't mind saying, is I probably won't qualify for a traditional loan. The reason is I'm using a lot of different tax savings or using my tax advisor. I'm limiting my tax liability. So if you actually looked at my W-2s and tax returns, I'm not even sure if I could get finance for an electric bike. And that's the way I want to keep it. So I'm not sure, Harry, do you think you'd actually get approved for a traditional loan? I know you guys.
Oh no, we have over 800 credit scores each, and we cannot get a conventional loan.
Yeah, so that's always really important, right? And the other thing is when you get
I'm
really
happy
good at
to
it.
do.
Yeah, and the thing is when you get really good at it is you only depending on Fannie Mae, they'll only let you have 10 investment properties, right? So there are some limitations when it comes to traditional loans, and anyone that's actually applied for a traditional loan, there's a lot of moving parts, right? And then my favorite is partnerships, right? We love partnerships, right? Harry and I do a ton of partnerships. Carl Shealy, our contractor, we've done partnerships. When you're in our coaching program, that's a true partnership, right? And again, these are the 5 ways to get deals, right? Or to fund your deals, I should say, right? Your job is to match the right money to the right deal, right? So when we say that, there's no one way to fund deals, right? Meaning, unless you're, I don't know, I guess I'll say Elon Musk, right? You might have unlimited cash. Actually, I don't think he has cash, actually. I know he's got a massive net worth, right? So you might have to use other buckets, right? You might have some cash and you're leveraging it with your credit, or you're just using private money. You've been raising capital all the way through. Again, you got to match the right money to the right deal. Like, it's super important, right? So cash, right? We always say cash is simple, right? And why we like it, cash is fast. So when Harry has a deal or our students have a deal, they need proof of funds, right? Harry could, I mean, theoretically call me the day before and I could wire the cash. It's pretty simple. Of course, I'm going to make sure lien searches are clear, title's clear, all the above. There's other moving parts, and the money's literally sitting in an account. How many guys would love to have a partner where money's just sitting in the account, and if it's a deal, they could wire the money instantly? Put in the chat. Right? And then the other big thing is, yep, I got a yeah, buddy. Yeah, put it in the chat. I'm always curious if they're not. Okay. Okay, a couple of you guys, all right.
You can borrow money from them.
Yeah, right. Right. The idea of cash gives you control. What do I mean by that? Right? What it means is I could close as fast or slow. One of our favorite deals, and we've done multiple deals like this, why we like cash or the cash I raised, is, we could close, again, depending on the city, right? We could close with liens and violations. So Harry had a deal, Harry and Victoria. When I say Harry, it's always Harry and Victoria, because they're a team. Harry, you want to talk about the biggest deal with the liens and violations? And I know Carl Shealy's on this call. You want to talk about that deal and why it was important to have cash?
Oh, there were so many, but the one with Carl was 2.8 million, 2.6 million in lien accruals. And so fortunately, we have buyers that will take it with the liens. So I ended up selling it to Carl. He took it with liens, and he ended up negotiating it down to less than $7,000 in the
Yeah, I
long
think it was
run.
like 7,800 is what I'm thinking, somewhere around there. So why that's important, right? When it's true cash, right? Not a hard money loan, right? So hard money guys in general will not let you close with liens and violations. Definitely not with liens. Very rare. Like, you better know your
Because
hard
they
money.
don't know the cities, they don't know what the city will take, and that's where our experience comes in, and that's why
Yeah.
Niche lends it the money.
Yeah, and the same thing with private money, right? Imagine you borrow money from so and so, and hopefully they're smart enough, right? They want to see a title search. They want to make sure there's no liens or violations, and they see a $2.7 million lien on there, right? It's super important. And so many people, so I can tell you early in my career, I would have passed on that deal. I would have probably thrown up, like, oh my God. $2.7 million. Harry, you bought it for how much? You want just a quick little synopsis of that story of it being empty and all the other
You
good
want
stuff?
the story or just the numbers?
No, the quick version. Yeah.
Beep. That's quick. I skip traced. I found the heirs. This was a fire damaged home. Actually had a sticker on it that said arson, so I was a little concerned that I would not be able to reach the owners because they were probably hiding. They were up in Brooklyn. Turns out they supposedly only spoke Spanish. I found them through their sons. One of the sons said it's there was a delay between a year. Spoke to one son who was estranged a year later. I spoke to the other son, still in this property, was in worse condition. He actually had it under contract, so I was late. And it turns out that the day I called him, the investor backed out. I said, was it because of the 2.6 million in liens and the $25,000 in taxes and water? He goes, yes. I said, would you still sell it at the same price if I took it with all of those? And he said, yes. So the contract was for 55,000, 55,000. And I think it was 20,000 in water and liens. So I paid $75,000 and I sold it to Carl with the 2.7 million in liens attached to it. Carl understood the city, knew what the city was willing to take. Carl fixed it up. House is absolutely gorgeous. And then so I ended up selling it to Carl so I'm in for 75,000, guys. I sold it to Carl for $235,000 as is, fire damaged, house was destroyed. Anyone put in the chat how much profit that was. And I sold it to him. He fixed it up. The markets changed and went up as well. So he ended up making, I think it was 185,000 or something after he fixed up. So Carl didn't care how much I made because the numbers worked for him. And most of our buyers are the same exact way. It's all about the numbers. So on this simple deal that we technically picked up for 55,000, solved all the problems. I made 156, he made 186, and everyone is happy.
Yep. And that goes right into, right? Cash is not always the highest use of your money, right? So Carl will even tell you that I'm almost positive he used none of his own cash, right? Cash gives you speed and control, 100%. And the wealthy, right? They don't always use their cash. They ask themselves, is this the highest and best use of my capital? It's the same thing Harry and Victoria, right? They have the cash to close on the deals. They rather leverage my money because when you're doing more deals, it's about leverage. So I think that's always important because when I first started, I didn't have much cash. I raised money from one investor to give me the cash. And the challenge was I could only do one deal at a time. I had to wait, fix it up, then do another deal, right? I didn't have the leverage. My credit was shot. I filed for bankruptcy. So I literally was moving the same money and I could not do a bunch of deals. So one of the great things is when you join our program, guess what? You no longer have that problem. We want you to do multiple deals at the same time, right? The other way is credit, right? So credit can fund deposits, right? Repairs and marketing and even short caps, right? So earlier I put that third-party funding. So some of you guys might say, hey, look, I don't really have enough money for a deposit. Yeah, there's credit out there, right? Or you got enough money to close and you don't have enough money for repairs. And then in the real world, you still have to do marketing, right? Or sometimes Carl will tell you, Harry will tell you, any investor that's been doing deals, sometimes you got too many deals and you got short gaps, right? Meaning that hey, I'd rather partner with Anish on this deal versus not doing the deal at all, right? So credit is a tool. It's not income, guys. And so what we always talk about, there's good credit and bad credit. What's bad credit or bad use of credit? Lifestyle spending, right? The vacation that you really can't afford could be one. When I say lifestyle, it could be going out. It could be any, all the things that have no return on investment, right? What we also talk about, like housing. So yeah, go ahead and leverage your investment properties because that way, when you're leveraging, and do not over leverage. If you're over leveraged, negative cash flow, that's what gets you in trouble. That's what got me in trouble in 2010 or 2008 to 10, right? A lot of equity, but none of the properties were cash flowing. So again, it is about using it for income, right? So again, smart use, again, business leverage with a clear exit. I'm gonna, Harry's gonna borrow the money from me for 6 months. He's gonna fix up that house. That's the exit. I'm gonna pay this. This is the interest rate. And then in 6 months, I'm gonna pay off his high interest rate and points deal. Right? So you always have to have a clear strategy. I think that's super important, right? And if you use it wrong, it's going to create pressure, right? Meaning you're always making those monthly payments. If you use it correctly, it bridges the gap and you can actually leverage your business. So it's super important when it comes to credit to have the right stuff going on for you, right? Loans, traditional loans, we always talk about they care about you. What does that mean? They want to know how well Harry's feeling? Absolutely not, right? The banks are usually underwriting you. What do they want to know? What's your income? What, right? What's your gross income? There's DTI, right? Debt to income ratios, right? The banks want to make sure they're getting paid. They want to make sure if Harry was working at a W-2 job, how long has he been working there? Has he been in the same industry? They're going to want 2 years of history, right? Is Harry today a baker? And then tomorrow he's a realtor. And then Wednesday he's an Uber driver, right? The bank wants to see consistency with Harry and Victoria. They also want to make sure he really has the money. So it's called, they're going to check 2 months of statements. They're going to look for large deposits, right? So the money has to be seasoned, right? They don't want to say, oh, he just borrowed the money for 1 month, so it looks like he's got money. So again, for banks, they're underwriting you as a person. Are you a good borrower? Debt to income all the way through. So hard monies, right? Hard money lenders, they care about the asset. What does that mean? Right? Harry, what does that mean to you? Some of our hard money lenders like Paul Regan, Brad Emmer.
In essence, basically, if you don't pay, they just take the asset back. So as long as there's enough equity, they're going to give the loan.
Yep. They want to make sure that they get paid. They're worried about you a little bit, but not as much. What happens when things go wrong, right? They look at the value. They look at if there's equity, right? There should be equity, and what's the exit strategy and risk. Again, the key is the lenders do not want properties back, right? They're in the business of lending money. So again, the value that Harry might say is XYZ, right? $300,000. The lender might say, I don't know what National Guru course you took. There's no way it's worth 300,000. At most 260. That other one's not even comparable. It's over a mile away. It's a different neighborhood all the way through, right? His exit strategy for Harry might be, hey, I'm going to fix and flip it. I'm going to put 50,000 into it. And imagine he didn't have a power team with someone like Carl Shealy or the people at BPM RIA. And he didn't know his numbers on the rehab, right? It's a full rehab and he's only budgeting 40 grand, right? On a 3-2 bedroom, it needs a roof, kitchen, bathrooms, and he says 40 grand. No go, right? So again, the hard money lenders are out there to make sure you don't make a mistake. It's a second set of eyes is number one. And their primarily purpose is what's the asset, the exit strategy, all the above, right? The question that they ask is there, not only is there equity, is there an exit? Can this deal survive mistakes? So what are some of the mistakes? Put in the chat if you guys have actually done a rehab. What are some of the potential mistakes? Right? Harry, you want to talk about some of the potential mistakes you could have in a rehab?
Holding it too long.
Holding it too long.
Not budgeting for holding costs.
Yeah, new taxes, right? You bought it for XYZ and they've owned it forever. Yep, David, under budgeting. What about my favorite permits. Carl Shuley will tell you when you come to that Saturday event, he'll let you in on his favorite cities and his least favorite cities, right? So if it takes a ton of time, yes, on your oops money, right?
He owes $5 to Carl. He
Yeah.
has a trademark now.
Yep. And imagine, right? You get into the plumbing or behind the walls and you find out all these other things. The other thing is like during the pandemic, I remember Carl talking about, yeah, we're going to do this house and the impact windows, right? They're delayed 4 to 6 weeks. There was also, I remember when Harry, like the appliance issue, you couldn't get appliances. So again, you got to make sure you have these delays in there, right? So private money, and I kind of already mentioned what private money means. It comes from people, right? Not lenders. These are ordinary people. It could be from their Roth, self-directed IRAs. There's a lot of ways to raise money. When you're in our program and you start doing deals, I teach you how to raise your own money, right? For deals, right? A lot of ways are friends, family, business owners, retirees, professionals. So let me give you the caveat of borrowing private money from friends or family. So my parents, they lent me money for deals in 2008. Guess what? I lost not only my money, I lost their money, which that in turn put them in foreclosure. So they lost their house, right? Luckily, the story worked out for me. I crushed it. I made a lot of money and I bought my parents a house. What I'm going to tell you, it's not a great feeling when you borrow private money from friends or family and things go wrong, right? So again, and a lot of times you got to remember private money, they're not real estate investors, right? So they're not buying the hype that, oh yeah, there's all this value. They want to see what the real numbers are, right? They're buying safety, confidence, and return. How many of you guys on this webinar have actually lent money on deals? Just kind of curious, right? Again, they want to know, is my money safe? If I give it to Harry, which we've done numerous deals over the years, gosh, and he buys it at such a massive discount, I'd gladly take the property back from him. Of course, there's no chance. I mean, there's so much room in there, right? I have so much confidence in Harry and Victoria or Carl or some of the other people, our experienced investors, the mentors, all the above, that they know what they're doing, right? And the question is, when am I going to get my money back, right? So again, their issue is, protection. They want to know the numbers and they certainly want to get paid. Make sense? Put in the chat, that makes sense, right? Private money. And if you're lending out of your own money, that's what's important for you, right? So don't, again, like we call it the hype, right? And I always call my realtor friends, not on this call. I'm a licensed agent too. So a lot of realtors are cheerleaders. And what I mean by that, they're always going to talk about that one sale that closed, but they won't talk about the other 10 sales that are in pre-foreclosure that didn't close, right? So then we're going to talk about partnerships, right? So what kind of partnerships have you seen, right? One person brings a deal. Is that you, right? You know how to do deals, right? That could be Harry, Victoria, right? One person brings the money. Too busy. I've been working. I'm a doctor. I want to get in real estate, all the above. I'm too busy to find my own deals, but I got some money. Can we do the deal together, right? You might be taking down bigger deals, right? It might be bring credit, right? Listen, we might have a third partner and they have the great credit score. I got some money and the other person's got some of the deal. The other partnership, right? It could be experience. Carl Shuley, our contractor, 28 plus years with Bria and BPM Ria, ton of experience. I could take it to the bank. When Carl says, hey, here's the numbers, this is what the construction's going to cost, I don't even think twice about it, right? Like he knows his stuff. Yes, there could be things that he can't see, right, behind the walls, and we still budget that in. That's part of the experience, right? And that also goes right into, bringing the construction. So one of the things that's really, really important as you build your business, you got to know every person in a partnership has to know their role, right? What's the role going to be? Hey, I'm just the money guy. Pay me when it's done. Harry's got to find the deals, right? I don't want to hear any construction issues because that's you, Carl. So one of the things that I've seen a lot of partnerships, right? If you set up an LLC, make sure you have an operating agreement. Everyone must, when I say must, have an operating agreement and really dial in what happens when A, B, or C, D goes wrong. What happens if like we don't like you want to make sure the splits are defined up front. Exactly what Carl's talking about. You want to make sure what his role is. What happens if Carl doesn't, he flakes out? Okay. God forbid, someone passes away. Am I now a partner with Cindy? Or is Carl a partner with my wife, Eliana? Right? Again, you got to make sure you have all this covered. I've seen this too many times, and I'm gonna just, again, I'm transparent, so I'm gonna tell you from experience. Hey, we should become partners. We should do this. Everything sounds great until it's not. Right? So if it's not defined early, and it must be written. I promise you, make sure everyone knows it so there's no surprises. That operating agreement in an LLC is like a Bible. There's no surprises, right? We all signed on it. Anish, you said you're going to raise money for deals. Okay, right? So it's super important. Again, when the roles are clear, risk and profit are clear also, right? Confusion kills partnerships. Clarity protects them, right? And they'll hear it in our office. Harry will hear it. Actually, everyone on our team hears it. The death conversation for me is, hey, we'll figure it out later. And my answer is, we're not going to figure it out later. We're going to figure it out now. I promise you, it'll save you a lot of headaches. It might save you some lawyer fees, lawsuits, all the above, guys, right? So sometimes you could do the funding and you could stack it together. So let me give you an example of that, right? The private lender funds the purchase, right? You raise money from friend, family, all the above. The credit funds the repairs, right? Maybe you have enough credit or a line of credit or a HELOC somewhere that could help you. Maybe the partner guarantees the loan, right? Maybe you're doing a bigger project and they need a personal guarantee, right? My credit's not great. Harry's got a ton of assets, so he might personally guarantee it, right? And then the buyer or the refinance pays everyone back, right? So I usually see this a lot, especially in the multifamily space. It's the structure, it's deal making, guys, right? So again, you could use these different tactics put together and you could do bigger deals that way, right? So let's talk about private lenders. What do they care about? Is my money protected? What's the property worth, right? So it's so funny when people always ask for money, like Harry or Antonio or any. So, the question is, well, hey, what's it worth, right? What's the exit strategy? I already know what Harry's exit strategy is. Who's taking care of the deal, right? And when do I get paid back, right? Is another one. I also add, is it local, right? Where's the market? And then the big question that always gets me is, what happens if your plan A changes? So indirectly, private lenders, they're asking, is my money safe, right? When do I get it back? And what happens if things go wrong? So, and you got to answer those questions before they ask. Don't wait for your lender to ask you this. You should have this down, right? You're the investor. They're investing in you, right? So you want to hit all these questions up front. Well, partners want to see, right, the numbers and timeline. All right. How many times, Harry, have we done, you looked at deals, right? And right away, before anything, it's the numbers. How long is it going to take, right? What's the risk and exit? Your role and their role, am I just putting up the money? We've done deals together where I did the rehab for Harry. Harry and Victoria don't love doing rehabs. I don't mind doing them, right? The upside and the paperwork, right? You got to have paperwork. So when you partner with someone, it's not just about enthusiasm. They want to know the math. They want to know the timeline, the risk, the upside, the paperwork. What I always tell people, when you're a professional, you're prepared before you pitch somebody. Don't walk into, I've seen it so many times, like, oh, we should partner, and they don't know their numbers, right? They're asking me to figure that out. It's not going to happen. When you're in our coaching program, we take care of that. Your mentors take care of that, right? So we're fixing that gap for you guys, right? And we always say, you know, good deals attract money. A bad deal, I need money. Actually, I got a call yesterday that, guess what? A rehabber ran out of money. I need money. Okay, well, doesn't make any sense, right? Like, what do you mean you need money, right? A good deal, they're going to say, here's the asset, here's the exit strategy, this is how you're protected, and here's the discount I'm buying it for. What's on average, Harry, you would say that you're getting discounts on values? I know you're definitely a unicorn in that way. What would you say over the years, if you had to say your last 10 deals, roughly?
Well, I had always heard that people are, if you can get 15, 20% off, everyone's happy. I've gotten deals where I paid the bank 9% of what they wanted. But some of them are in the 30, 40% range of what the bank wants. I don't think I've ever paid more than 70% of what the bank wants, 60% of what the bank wants.
Yeah.
So you can get these discounts. You just got to know how. And that's what you and the organization taught us.
Yep. And again, Harry and Victoria are super experts. And we always say money chases certainty, right? So again, you don't want to, lead with people and say, oh, I need money. It just sounds pretty weak. You want to say, well, here's the asset, here's a discount, here's the exit, and that's powerful. That's when people will give you the money, when you know your stuff, right? So like on a deal snapshot, right, you got to know the address, purchase price, and repairs. It's fun. I won't mention the person. The person that Harry, we talked about on a commercial property, right? They called me, or we've been going back and forth in email. Now they want to do. Hopefully they're not on this call, but they're not. Yep. They wanted me to call them. They literally did not give me the address. They only gave me the purchase price, and that's it. I was like, I don't need to do a phone call. Like, just give me the address, right? Like, what's the exit strategy? Is there a repair value? How am I going to make money on it, right? Is there a payback plan? All the above. And he literally wanted to do a phone call. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested, right? So
What's he going to say right after the phone call? Oh, you got to sign a non-disclosure agreement or something ridiculous.
yeah. So again, automatically, there's no chance I'll do a deal with him. Like, those are some simple numbers of what you have under control. It makes some sense. The other thing is credibility matters, right? Your word matters. Again, this is a business of trust, right? Your preparation. Do you really have your numbers out there? Do you have a contractor report? Did Carl Shuley go out there, right? Your numbers fully, right? So not only you prepare to close, right? And your follow-up, right? So what's your follow-up as a lender? Hey, I just want to check with you. I want to make sure, hey, we have this project. So far, it's moving this well, right? We just put the kitchen in. We've done these things. We're waiting for a roof report. You got to follow up with your lenders, right? Just give them a quick email, text. I'm not saying it's got to be a long report. Just let them know that their money is safe, right? People fund people they trust. How many of you guys believe in that? Put in the chat, right? Your credibility is your currency, right? Return your calls, even when things are not going as well, right? You got to be in touch with your lender. Tell the truth, guys. Don't lie to your lender ever, whether it's a hard money guy or private money. I always under promise, right? Over deliver. Your word matters, guys. This is massive. I know sometimes it sounds basic until you're on the other side. All right. So when you're on the other side lending money and they're not transparent, you lose all sorts of credibility. I'm actually recently in a situation of that's exactly what happened. Right? They were not transparent on everything that was happening. Right? So some of the beginner funding mistakes, right? Asking too early. Oh, I need money for this deal. I need this money. I need $200,000. Harry, do you even have a deal? No, not yet. Right? Right? So, well, what am I lending on? Right? Not knowing the numbers. Like, I'm going to drill this in because we see so many people not knowing their numbers. That's why in the 2-day quick start, we teach you these numbers. We do a property analysis, and it's fun, right? Most beginners, they just ask way too soon. Again, they overpromise and no written plan. Yeah, you'll easily make, if it's a partnership, oh, we'll easily make $100,000 on this deal. We only made 30. Right? Oh, just take my word for it. Right? It's not written down on that stuff, right? So I think it's always important. They sound desperate. Right? I need this real quick. When you're desperate to raise money, it literally repels money. The money's going to go away from you. Preparation attracts it, right? And they have no exit strategy. Right? What's the exit strategy? And talking like a victim instead of a business owner. Right? Again, I see this all the time for deals, right? As a business, you know your numbers, you know how to be professional and be prepared, right? You guys are starting to see what I'm talking about on partnerships and business, right? Before you ask money, right, you got to analyze the deal. When you're in our program, we analyze the deals with you, right? I'm not going to let anything happen with our money. So you got to prepare first, analyze, and you got to know the downside, right? We've seen the market change in the last 12 months. You're doing a rehab, maybe the ARV and the comps were 400,000 and now it's 330, right? Because the rehab took too long. So what do you do now? Right? How am I going to pay back my lender? Is it cash flowing? Right? Make sure you're using the right documents. I've seen people create notes incorrectly, right? Use an attorney, ideally. I'm not here to give you legal advice, to at least create your documents, right? Again, you want to do those correctly. God forbid Harry doesn't pay me back, and maybe I created those documents on my own. Can I foreclose? Right? You've got to make sure you know the laws in your state. So I think that's always important. And then what I always tell people, you got to practice the conversation when you're asking for money and be ready. It's not ready for questions. Right? It's, meaning I'm asking Harry for money. Make sure I know my stuff. Harry's going to ask me, well, what about this? What about that? The key is certainty equals wealth. All right? You always got to go in worst case scenario. So again, you got to prepare for this. I just see so many people unprepared when they're doing this. And then the funding conversation, right? Again, you don't want to say, can you lend me money? Right? What you'd rather say is something that I found a real estate opportunity. Here are the numbers. Here's how the money is protected. Here's the return. Would you like to review it? Right? So now you're not begging for money. You're inviting them to review an opportunity where they can make money with you. And this is how it's protected, right? These are conversations you need to have. What we always say, your new identity you're creating, right, is, again, you're not begging for money. You're solving a money problem for someone else, right? If you're lending, that's you, right? Or you're bringing the deal, right? Or they bring the capital, right? When the deal's right, everyone wins. So my question is, on partnerships, which one are you? We talked about finding the deal. Are you the money partner? Are you the construction partner? Or are you the experience partner? Put in the chat. I want to know which one you guys are. Is this a good idea, right?
Yep, everyone should respond.
Yep. Or you're just confused. I'm none of them. I'm new. Okay, some of you guys are finding the deals. Okay. Right, so anyone else? I want to see a couple people answering. Okay. New, finding the deals. Okay, I want to find the deals. Okay. All right, you're new. Okay. Right, so again, your action step is pick one deal. Find the deal. For the people that are new and that can't find the deal, well, that's why we have our one-on-one coaching program, right? Identify the funding gap. We fix that for you when you're in our program. And then you got to choose the best funding bucket, right? Are you using traditional loans? Are you using credit? Are you using cash? Again, you got to have that. And then prepare your deal snapshot. I would say knowledge without action is entertainment, right? So again, you got to have at least one conversation a week to find deals, right? And the key is you got to take action now. That's super, super important, right? So what I'm going to show you is a couple of the deals that we've done with our students. This deal was Davidson. He works full time. And again, we found this through ReaFacts, the software we use, and knocked on their door, actually. The lady was living in there and she had a roommate. The roommate wasn't paying, so we actually had to evict the roommate on this deal, and she had violations. So we actually went in front of the magistrate, Lucian and Denise and Davidson, and we negotiated the liens down from a couple $100,000 to $15,000. Our seller paid $15,000. I'm sorry, half of it, $7,500. Davidson is an elite student. We were talking about rehabbing the house, and instead we found a great buyer. It was one of the iBuyers, and we wholesaled it, made a $98,000 profit. So Davidson made 50% of that. This was Julio's deal. If you want to just run through these, a couple, this one and
Yep, this was Julio's deal. Julio is also a bit of an anomaly. He only finds properties driving for dollars. So when he's driving to and from work, the gym, wherever, he just takes a different road. And he his three deals in that one very short time span were all hoarders' houses. So we sort of nicknamed him the Hoarder King. This property was in pre-foreclosure, but it did have equity. We had to do two probates, the mother and there were two sons. One of the sons also passed away. So Julio found the other son and made him a straight up deal where the son, who had nothing to do with their family for decades, was able to make some money out of this. And we just cleaned it out, which you just saw, and we sold it as is for $110,000 profit. Now, these are not HGTV numbers. If you don't know what it means this is after closing costs and every expense. That's in our pocket money, $110,000. Julio got half. That's Julio right there in the white shirt. This is his other deal. This one had $386,000 in liens. Believe it or not, the guy was living in this property just over Julio's left shoulder. There was no access to the kitchen, the beds, the baths. You'll see those other angles. We had to climb 3 feet up into the front door to get into the house. It was probably the most cluttered house we've ever seen. Our crews took, I think, a lot of loads out of there.
Yeah, 16 dumpsters.
And this was on a main road, right on Broward Boulevard. 10,000 cars a day would pass. You couldn't see the house from the road. It was so overgrown. You couldn't see the house from this angle. It was so overgrown. A 1 acre lot on the edge of a golf course. It had, my goodness, numerous vehicles, abandoned vehicles. There was a motorcycle on a pallet. that looked like it was belonged at the bottom of a fish tank, all full of green mold and everything, bees nests and tons of trash. We were able to, the city saw us working on this. The code officer spoke to code enforcement, and after the magistrate reduced the $386,000 down to zero, he said, "Wait a minute, I can't do zero. How about $1 per case?" So that 386,000 went down to $3. There was a 1,670 some odd dollars in hard costs, and we actually had our buyer pay those fees. So we were able to solve the problems and net 138,000. So therefore, he got another $69,000 there.
Yeah. How many guys would love to do a deal like this? Give me a yeah, buddy. So if you're keeping track, right, well over 120, close to $120,000 with zero money of his own and learning hands-on, guys. Again, this is here in South Florida. This is what one of our students, Antonio Lopez, had to say after doing our program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Lopez. My company name is Antlop Investment Properties. And before I met Anish Dave and joined the BPM RIA mentoring, I had just a basic idea of what I needed to do in real estate investing. After I joined, aside from learning pretty much everything that was required to learn about real estate investing and to become successful, one of the biggest benefits that I received was the amazing network of people that were part of the club. Everything that you can think of, everything that you need in order to be successful in real estate investing, you can find it here at the BPM RIA. So thank you so much, BPM and Anish, for everything. I really appreciate it. I owe you guys a ton. And for you guys watching this, I highly encourage you to check out BPM RIA. It's the first place you need to, where you want to start your real estate investing journey. So,
yep. And now Antonio is a short-term rental expert. He's using the BRRRR methods. He's been crushing it. What I love about Antonio, he literally had no real estate experience, and he's moldable talent, right? Just tell me what to do. I'll go out there and do it. And he's fearless. And fast forward, his mom's a lender. He's buying stuff out of his Roth IRA. So it's pretty awesome all the way through. This is one of Harry and Victoria's deal. This was a reverse mortgage short sale. Don't worry about the language. If you don't know what that means, that just tells me you got to join our 2-day quick start. They were going to walk away from the deal, right, Harry?
The heirs, the lady passed away, and the children wanted nothing to do with the house since the bank wanted more than the house was worth. I spoke with them, and they agreed to let me do the voodoo I do so well, and was able to create equity to the point where, yes, that is a pure $179,000 wholesale profit. So I didn't touch the property at all. There was no need to clean it. I was already clean, and I just bought it at the right price. I negotiated that with through the learnings that I was taught with everybody. Carl taught me what I need to repair, and Anish taught us how to do certain things. The bank gave it to us at $171,000. And we had no clue that we were going to get this kind of profit margin, because that's basically what the ARVs were, the after repaired values, what other houses were selling for in the area were about that. But all I could say is God bless their hearts. They had a different exit strategy and probably living in it. But the house is beautiful today, and so is my bank account.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So one of the things is that, that's important, what Harry was talking about is, first of all, if it's a short sale, you actually need money to close. You can't assign the contracts. And we talk about that during our quick start and in our mentoring program, where, again, I'm putting up all the money. We could do those deals. If you don't have cash or real money or access to cash, you would have missed out on this, right? So how many of you guys, you do one deal and you made $179,000, you're going to be pretty happy? Put in a chat, right? If that doesn't excite you, I'm a little worried, right? So a lot of people think we just wholesale. So this was another short sale. The bones were great. meaning the roof, windows, and again, Carl Shealy will talk about all that on our Saturday event on July 11th and our 2-day quick start. And guess what? We rehab this. So Latanya is one of our elite students. And when you're an elite student and the numbers make sense, you will rehab the house with your mentor and Carl Shealy, and I'll put up all the money for the deals. So this was a pretty good deal. It took only 4 months to do the deal from beginning to end. And this is net profit, guys. So the rehab took about 45 days. The end buyer was an FHA buyer. So we had to hold on to the property for 90 days. They did a loan, $167,000. Latanya made close to 82.5, right? Or 83.5, sorry. $83,500, zero money out of her pocket using my money, and she learned hands-on.
And
So,
learning how to rehab and learning how to do everything.
yeah. So we always say there's no more excuses, guys. When you join our program, we get rid of analysis paralysis, the partnerships, all the stuff I've been telling you today. I solve all those problems when you're in our program. So this is what another one of our students had to say.
My name is Kevin Tyree. My company name is, I work with BPM Rear. Before joining BPM Rear, my previous career, I worked at the Port of Miami for 23 years, and I also was a buy and hold investor. After joining BPM Rear, I've learned how to wholesale, short sales, work with probate properties, and things of that nature. Join BPM. Thanks, Anish.
Yep. And Kevin's first
My name is-
deal was over $90,000 wholesale deal. We actually evict the people and bring the sheriff. So $45,000 profit. He's a realtor, buy and hold guy. And he said, man, there's not enough deals on the MLS. I got to go out there and actually do these deals, guys. So this house, this is Marcella. Harry was one of her students, or Harry's the mentor. Let me rephrase that for Marcella. What they really liked, and Harry coached her on this, was sometimes it's not about moving fast. They needed extra time to live in the house and clean up the house. It already had gone through probate. She was in, I always get this wrong, Guatemala or El Salvador?
El
Which one?
Salvador.
El Salvador. And the daughter was still living there. And they really just like Marcella, right? Listened, all the above. Marcella's one of our elite students. We cleaned it up and we thought about rehabbing it. And guess what? $102,000 profit on a wholesale deal. So we didn't rehab it. She made $51,000 and it paid for her elite program and then some. So one deal we've seen sometimes actually, one deal paying for their program. I can't guarantee that. My first wholesale deal, I still laugh about it, is that I put $500 down and I signed the contract. I made $2,000 and I was excited. I 4x'd my money. I was like, wow, this really worked. So what we've seen post-pandemic, our students are averaging close to $40,000, right? And to an extent, the return's almost infinite because they have zero money in the deals. These last couple deals are Harry and Victoria's deals. You want to just talk about these, why we love these, or why you
Yeah,
love
these were kind of simple. And Nish says, why don't the price was so good, even though they were pre-foreclosures and had to find the heirs and pay for probate. Nish said the price is right. Why didn't you just purchase this in your Roth? So my Roth purchased this property with $1,000 as a deposit. All we did was clean it out. We wholesaled it. We made a deal with the brother who was alive, and because there was equity, we just sold it outright. He sold it outright and paid off the bank, and I made $145,000 tax free on a $1,000 investment. So my Roth bought this $1,000 down, made $145,000 tax free. I then took that $1,000 and put it down on the next property that Anish, I believe, is going to show, if that's the right sequencing.
It's actually the one right after that. So this is another deal, South Miami. They thought it was going to be a tear down. It wasn't a tear down. We bought it for $150. Actually, then we did our inspection, and I got another $25,000 discount. What you're going to learn is I'm like my wife, I like money. I'm a phenomenal negotiator. So for a $350 report, I got a $25,000 discount, and we wholesale this. We made another $235,000. Again, our students get 50% net, right? And they're not taking any risk. So this is the one that Harry's talking about, the two duplexes.
So I thought I was going to be a landlord. I was full intentions of holding this long term in my Roth, get tax-free growth. So I put that $1,000 down on deposit, and I held it for 13 days. Someone made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And that led to this insane profit, $265,000 tax-free. So when it was between the two of them, they were about a month and a half closed together. Within 3 months, they closed, and my Roth netted $400,000 tax-free.
Yeah. How many guys love those numbers, right? I would, and again, this is our BPM RIA and BRIA record profit. How many guys think you could beat this profit? I would love for you guys to do a deal with this. And then I'd rather have your deal be up here and say, Harry, that you had a nice run, and here's our new one, right? And so I'm going to play a quick video what Nicole said after doing our 2-day quick start.
Hi, my name's Nicole Bergatti. I'm with Bergatti Properties, and I'm currently a full-time employee of CBRE. I'm events and meeting coordinator. And prior to starting the 2-day quick start course, I've always wanted to do real estate. I've always been interested in flipping homes and all that good stuff. And I knew Anish, and I knew that this is what he did. And he's so smart, and he knows real estate so well. And so I went ahead and just took the course, and I am so glad I did, because a couple months later, we ended up closing a deal that was worth $42,000. And that's great money. And now I have a few more deals in the pipeline, and I'm super excited about my investing future. And that wouldn't have been possible without Anish and his team. And I 100% recommend that you take this course, get started, and do it.
Yep. And again, what I love about Nicole is that she had no real estate experience. So some of you guys are saying, I have no real estate experience. You saw Antonio, no real estate experience, and now he's doing this full time. So yeah, Harry, yeah, you neither, right? So the point is, it doesn't matter where you're at, and there's a ton of opportunity right now, right? So we've done webinars of the amount of abundance of deals, what's happening in our market is pretty insane. So we do have 2 different coaching programs. Some of you guys are interested in our core program, which is wholesaling. Our elite program is wholesaling and rehabbing. I put up the money for the deals, software, all the above. What I'm going to tell you is you're going to want to go ahead and book a discovery call, because you're going to have some questions to make sure we're the right fit for you. You're the right fit for me. I only take 6 students per month, guys. I've already filled up 3 of the slots. So I only have 3 more slots left. The other thing that these guys all know, Harry, Victoria, the team, I have not raised my prices in probably about 7 years. The prices are going to go up for both of our programs. And the reason is there's no one else putting up the money for the deals and doing what we're doing out there. So Vina will put in the chat how to book a discovery call. Go ahead and book a discovery call. Also, our 2-day quick start is coming up August 1st and 2nd. What we talked about, again, assignments of contracts, double closings, creative financing, self-directed IRAs, 4 great speakers. We're going to make sure you get everything that you want. And I'm doing this one more time, is I love people that take action, right? Marshall Silver, who's one of my mentors, pushes on that. And I like rewarding people that do this. So what we're going to do put it in the link already. The first 3 people who book today, you're going to get a $200 credit towards Quick Start, right? So for members, instead of $6.95, it's going to be $4.95. For non-members, it's $8.95 to $6.95. Everyone else to get a $100 credit as long as you book before July 1st, right? We always say boldness is rewarded. So go ahead and again, Vina already put it in the chat, the link, right? And also the other big thing is I do 100% money back guarantee. After the first day, this is 100% money back guarantee for the Quick Start. After the first day, you say, hey, it's not for me. I have no problem refunding your money. You just have to be on the webinar or at the event for the full day. So I stand behind on what we teach. We always love it all the way through. So again, I want to reward you guys. Go ahead and book a discovery call. You're going to want to take one of the 3 spots. Some of you guys are already ready to go ahead and book, right? Your Quick Start. Our membership is $295. So it makes sense to become a member, save the $100 for $790. You could get a membership and a Quick Start, right? So again, it's only for the first 3 people that book a discovery call and buy, right? So as long as we see that you booked a discovery call, by the end of that discovery call day, that's how long the offer is good, guys. And lastly, some of you guys have talked about the third-party funding. So go ahead and take out your phone. And a lot of our students or potential students, they're using the leverage, right? We talked about good credit versus bad credit. They're using this leverage to fund their education. Again, it's a soft credit pull, 0% interest rate. They're really quick on what your potential on what you earn. There is a cost for their services. I just tell you to go ahead and talk to them. They have different kind of payments, and they've been a great partner all the way throughout the process. So I do know that there is a winner. Somebody won a membership today. So I want to, let's see, the winner, Rena told me it's Flavio Franco. So Flavio, you actually won a membership today for $295. It's free for you. If you're already a member, thank you. And we'll go ahead and extend it. If not, well, thank you for becoming a member for free. And Flavio, for you, this is even better, is that now you're already a member. It's $695, and you get a $200 off if you book a call and you buy the Quick Start. So you can actually get in for $495. So again, I want to thank you guys. Harry, any last words before we?
Yeah, actually, when Victoria and I started, we thought we were only going to be learning about real estate, and we did learn a lot. But we found along the way that we learned so much more. And that was learning how to build tax-free growth, how to pay your fair share in taxes, not overpay. Those things are invaluable, and how to incorporate all of this into how to set up your corporation properly, and asset protections. And so putting it all together makes the whole package something really extra special, and something that you can have for long term and create generational wealth.
Yeah, and for you guys that are on the webinar, I know you want this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the webinar, right? I know you want to make that change. In the beginning, I asked you how many of you guys have been thinking about real estate. This is the time, guys, right? I can't make this any easier. Again, we only take 6 people per month. The reason is you have unlimited access to your mentors. I am local. I live in downtown Las Olas, right? I'm willing to go out to the houses with you, put up money for inspections, appraisals. I don't know what else I could do, what more I could do, I should say. And I always leave it with this is that myself being National REIA president, representing 40,000 real estate investors, there are so many people that want to do my program out of state, and I won't put up the money out of state. I don't know the market. I don't have a power team. And when you join the BPM mentoring program, you get myself, you get the mentors, and you have a built-in power team, guys. So again, we do have a lot of events coming up. I'll see some of you guys on Thursday at the Lending One happy hour for our members and students. I know I think we have some workshops coming up. Our in-person quarterly meeting is July 8th at Nova Southeast University. We actually have an in-person, I almost forgot, in-person workshop this Saturday at Nova University too. So make sure you come to these events. That one's free. What I tell people, you guys want to come, you guys want me to do more in-person events, you guys got to show up. So I'll see you guys Saturday. Otherwise, have a great day and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, guys. Take care.